Okay. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Paul Kajowski, presenter, and Mr. Sam Pappas, inductee, to please step forward.
Good evening. Bartlett, I, my alma mater, to thy glory we sing. I'll tell you, it's what a great school, what a great tradition. Before I talk about Sam, I have to talk a little bit about two people or a person and who's being inducted tonight in a group. First of all, there's a young man who's being inducted tonight. His name is Tommy, born to beat Southbridge Miller. And he received the ultimate Bartlett compliment that I've ever heard in my life. I was pretty friendly with Don Marino after I played, and Tom Miller, somehow I got into a conversation with Don Marino about Tom Miller, and Don Marino, the legendary Southbridge coach, says, "I hate that kid." There was no way that Tom Miller would ever let Southbridge beat him, and I admired everything he did. Thank you, Tommy. The second was the cheerleaders. This group never lost. And I'll tell you, one of the great victories that we ever had in the town of Webster was defeating the Douglas landfill. And when they came to Boston one day, they went into the Senate chamber and they did a cheer right in the middle of the Senate chamber that said, "Mr. President, Mr. President, no dump, no dump." Shortly after that, the legendary, again, attorney from Mintz-Levin Popio, Bob Popio, he sent a 56-page brief to the Senate President, Tom Birmingham, to which Tom Birmingham publicly responded, "It's over for you. I was far more impressed with the lobbying effort of the Webster cheerleaders than I was with your 56-page brief. Goodbye, you're all done." Thank you. The early 1960s saw a phenomenon capture America. It was called the British Invasion. Led by the Beatles, a series of rock groups from England crossed the Atlantic to change our culture of music, style, and political protest forever. Here in Webster, we were subject to a European Mediterranean invasion that would give birth to a new sport at Bartlett. In 1998, through the successful process of student petition, what the world knew as football and what Americans labeled soccer became a reality for boys wearing green and white. Tonight's inductee played an integral role in beginning and subsequently creating the formidable and proud tradition known as Bartlett men's soccer. So the story goes. On December 24th, 1967, a thin, dark-haired, bushy-haired 16-year-old boy who could speak fluently in both Greek and French arrived in Webster. His only English consisted of two phrases. One was, "I love you," and even though it was December 24th, the second one wasn't Merry Christmas. The second one he learned from his good friend Teddy Chunkuski, and we all knew what that was. Sam Pappas had an immediate impact on the Bartlett soccer program. In the sport's inaugural season, even as a freshman, Sam was named the team's MVP. His dancing feet were magical, blessed with a work ethic second to none, and field savvy of a seasoned veteran. Sammy led the Indians to a conference title. He returned to action in his junior year following an injury during his sophomore season, and was recognized as one of the best soccer players in the state of Massachusetts. His season total of 55 points, more than double the output of teammates in Dennick Zach, who compiled 27. Sammy found the back of the net constantly. He absolutely was a scoring machine, and he led a undefeated regular season team to the Western Mass Finals, who eventually lost to the powerful Chicopee High. Once again, Sammy was named the MVP. Little known to many that in 1972, Sammy proudly served the country in the U.S. Army. He was the last draftee from the Vietnam draft from the town of Webster. And he served with distinction in both Vietnam and Korea until 1975. Sammy went on to Nichols College, where he captained his soccer teams in both his junior and senior years. He has constantly given back to his community and his school as a coach, as a referee, and a contributor. Sam's first love is his family, his wife Evelyn, his sons Stephen, Chuck, Jimmy, and his 5 grandchildren. They are what means the world to him. Tonight I take great pride in honoring and introducing a man I appropriately call Sammy the Great. His induction into this prestigious elite organization is so very deserving. Finally, if you asked Sam if he was the best soccer player in Bartlett's history and he deserved to be inducted into this Hall of Fame, he would look at you and say, absolutely. Will Sam Pappas, class of 1972, please come forward and be introduced to the Bartlett.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank the Bartlett Hall of Fame trustees for the decision to induct me into the Bartlett Hall of Fame class of 2016. It is such an incredible honor and privilege, and it is something that I will always reflect with great pride. I would also like to thank my good friend Paul Criasti, who presented me in such an eloquent way. Paul, you know me very well. Thank you so much. To my wife, Evelyn, my 3 sons, Stephen, Chucky, and Jimmy, and to my grandson, Michael, and also to my grandkids who are not here, Spiro, Lex, Stella, and Maximus. I would like to thank you for your patience and for your support and for all that you've done for me in the past years. To my friends, relatives, neighbors, and guests, thank you for taking time out on a Saturday evening to be part of this great occasion. Tonight, I am humbled to be part of such an elite fraternity of great soccer players at Bartlett High School who defined the game. It is an honor to stand here besides my fellow inductees, whom I would like at this time to congratulate you all. Congratulations on being inducted. I am humbled and delighted to be amongst you. I'm going to take you back just a few years. 1967 is when I arrived, as Paul alluded to earlier, into this country, and he's right. I could not speak but 2 words of English. Some of my friends still say that I still have a problem with the English language. That's a story for another day. When I came here, my very first week, I befriended the likes of Richard Scarron, Dennis Schrenzer, Chuck Pappas, not you Chuck, another Chuck, and of course, Teddy the Greek. Teddy Konkowski, everyone knows and remembers Teddy the Greek. And I vividly remember Richard asking me, would you like to go and play football? Of course, when I heard the word football, I perked up. That was the only word I understood. Nothing else I could not understand any of the other things. So in my excitement of hearing football, I said, yes, yes, let's go. So we proceeded to go up to the athletic field. And as we got closer to the athletic field, I noticed that there were other players already engaged in playing whatever they were playing. But I noticed that they were using a very awkward looking ball, this looking like ball. And to myself, I'm saying, what is that? How are we going to play with that? How are we going to pass? How are we going to head that ball? That was my introduction to the American football. Needless to say, the following day, I made a point of going around and looking for a round football, which I found. And then we proceeded to go and start playing the real football at the athletic field. In 1968, we began the the Bartlett High School program. We were very, very fortunate and blessed to have the likes of Zdenek Zak, Demetrius Antonio, myself, and of course Teddy the Greek, as players that came from Europe that knew the game. And we were understanding of the game. And with that, we also had other individuals like Roberto Alvarez, who joined our team, and he said, I'll play this game, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to come out there. And thank you for that, Roberto, by the way. They were eager to learn the game. There were others that came in, Robert, Bob Baxter is one that comes to mind, Leon Maria, and many others. And it was really a true experience because here we were, 4 of us, trying to teach another 7 members how to play the game. But at the same time, we were making friends and we were having a great time. The team always adhered to values and principles of good sportsmanship. We always regarded that as at the utmost level. We made sure that we're always in top physical condition. I remember running around the athletic field for hours on end to stay in shape. And when I say the athletic field, if those of you who remember, I'm talking about the football field and the baseball field, all around, not just the football field. And we would do that for hours and hours. My most memorable year was the year that we went undefeated. It seemed that year no one could beat us. We felt invincible. We had such a great talented team, and we were scoring at will. I think we've won every game by more than 5 or more goals, for the exception of Auburn, I believe. We beat them by 1 goal in that year. And we went to the quarterfinals and played Leominster. We beat Leominster, and then we went on to play against Chicopee, who proved to be a much stronger opponent than we were, and we were defeated. That loss is embedded in my mind, but it also proved to be an insight on using that loss to hold some of the values and principles that really makes us better human beings under certain adverse conditions. Upon graduation, as Paul alluded to, I was drafted and served in the Army. And I've got to tell you this, while I was stationed in Korea, I had the opportunity to play against the national women's soccer team. I was attached to the 2nd Infantry Division, and as we played them, we beat them 3-0. I had the opportunity to score all 3 goals. That win won me a coach's job at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, upon my returning to the States, to coach the United States Military Preparatory School. This is the school that preps before they go to West Point. So the last 9 months of my service was the best time because I was a coach and I had all the time in the world. I then proceeded to go to college, graduated from Nichols College, and then I started a life like most of us do. But I still had soccer in my blood, and I began coaching the Webster Soccer League, the Webster Youth Soccer League. I coached that league for approximately 20 years, and the greatest satisfaction that I got out of coaching the Webster Youth Soccer League was to watch these young players and to teach them the fundamentals of the game, and to watch them grow into becoming great soccer players and go on to play for high school and then in collegiate areas as well. And that was a great satisfaction. I then transitioned into coaching JV, Bartlett High School. I went back to my alma mater. And I coached the JVs for about 3 to 4 years, and then eventually took over the varsity team. And I coached the varsity team for about 6 years. As a coach, I was pleased and really happy to be back and giving to my community and giving back to the Bartlett soccer program. My greatest satisfaction, aside from having won several conferences, was on October of 2002, we played Shepherd Hill, under the lights, at Shepherd Hill. Bartlett High had not won at their home under the lights for several years. That night, Bartlett came to play, and they played well. In the first half, we were up by 3-0. It was a very impressive first half that we played. The second half, however, proved to be Shepherd Hill coming back and attempting to take the game away from us, or the win away from us. However, our defense held them back. They proved to be too much for them. And our midfield controlled the ball and wasted the time. And eventually, we won the game 3-2. That was my proudest moment of being a Bartlett coach. In the years that I played, I will always cherish the memories of winning and losing, the friends I made. And during those years, and I would like also to thank everyone who has supported me during such an impressionable time. In closing, I'd like to thank you again for your support and love, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. God bless Bartlett High School, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.